Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today's lesson is the phrase if I were in your shoes, I would. Or I wouldn't. This phrase is used when you want to tell someone what you would do in their situation. It simply means if you were him or her, what you would do. Let's see the word order. You could begin with the phrase if I were in your shoes. Then you could use I would. Or if it is in negative you could also use I wouldn't. Finally, after I would or I wouldn't, you have to use base form of the verb like do, run, go, come, punish, etc.
In this sentence pattern, we have two clauses. If I were in your shoes is the if clause. And I would do or I wouldn't do is the main clause. There is another important thing you should remember in this sentence pattern. You can change the word order by mentioning the main clause first, then secondly by mentioning the if clause. If I were in your shoes, I would slap him. This means if I were in your situation, I would do this. Like we said before in the word order, you could also say, I would slap him, if I were in your shoes. Here, you should remember to not to use a comma, because we begin the sentence with the main clause. But remember to use a comma if you use the main clause secondly, like our previous example. In this sentence, we're using the negative form of the main clause. If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't agree with them. Or you could also say, I wouldn't agree with them if I were in your shoes. If I were in your shoes, I would give him a piece of my mind. Or, I would give him a piece of my mind if I were in your shoes. If I were in your shoes, I would want an explanation. Or, I would want an explanation if I were in your shoes. In this sentence pattern, you could use other possessive pronouns instead of your as well. According to our note, here we have her, his, their. Also, John's, Emma's, etc. So, you could say, if I were in her shoes, if I were in his shoes, if I were in their shoes. If I were in John's shoes, if I were in Emma's shoes. Let's see some examples. If I were in his shoes, I would forgive her. If I were in Emma's shoes, I wouldn't trust them. If I were in Kevin's shoes, I would help them.
Okay, we think today's lesson will be very useful in your daily English conversation, so use it in order to become fluent in English. Would you please subscribe to our channel? See you again with another lesson. Have a nice day to you all.